Love is like wildflowers. It's often found in the most unlikely places. I love flowers. Everywhere I go, they catch my attention. I enjoy the unexpected curves and bends and beauty. They're beautiful, fierce, and free. Wildflowers can be found anywhere. Some people intentionally plant wildflowers along the walk so that others can enjoy them, while other wildflowers grow deep in the forest, and you may not see them unless you take a walk down a trail or through a park that has wildflowers sprinkled here and there. Either way, flowers are there for us to enjoy the beauty that life brings. But beyond the beauty is the wonder that nature is so full of surprises. Today I'm going to share a book with you all about wildflowers. Wildflower Watercolor, The Beginner's Guide to Painting Beautiful Florals by Sushna Hegde. Sushma is from Luxembourg, and she is a self-taught artist and illustrator and author. And I have truly enjoyed her book and the inspiration between these pages full of wildflowers. So join me as we get into this book. I think that you will enjoy it too. It is by Page Street Publishing Company, and I did pick this up off of Amazon. It was done in 2022. Here she has her content, so she goes over wild herbs, everything from lavender to chamomile to wild violet, and then she does the wildflowers, the yellow rocket, poppy, the foxglove, all the way to the aster. So she covers quite a bit. She also talks about composition here at the end. So her introductory is just to explain, why she put the book together and letting the reader know that it is a step-by-step workbook, creating an array of wildflowers and herbs as well, flowering herbs. She does say flowering herbs, using a range of techniques and colors. So if that sounds like something you would be interested, I would definitely go check it out. It talks about the supplies and choosing materials that are going to be right for whatever you're working on. So of course, watercolor paper, you're going to want a watercolor journal or a watercolor sketchbook, and that kind of thing. It talks about thicknesses of paper, and then also watercolors and how you would, choose your palette and things like that. And then the brushes, of course, as well. Here she talks a little bit more about just some extra things that you're going to need. The paints, the cloth to wipe off your brushes, the paints, and all of those kinds of things. And then it just goes over some basic techniques so that you can really get used to mixing colors and getting used to different techniques like wet on wet, wet on dry, and those basic watercolor techniques that you will need. I love this part because it just really resonates with me. Observing and interpreting what you see in nature. I've talked about this before in some of my other videos, but I really feel like you can be inspired by what is around you and just looking and seeing what is out there. When you take a walk, or when you're on a drive, or when you're visiting a garden or a park or something like that, there is inspiration everywhere. And so she talks about observing flowers and things like that, much like I do. Even when I go on a walk in my neighborhood, I observe the flowers that are around me. And it gives a lot of great inspiration when you do that. She talks about different features that are, you know, distinguishable between, you know, different plants, and then also learning the shapes. Learning the shapes is really what it comes down to, I have found for myself whenever I am painting. And then she talks about colors, and then the movement. It's just really good information and good detail. And then obviously the brush strokes. You can get a really great leaf look with, you know, certain kinds of brushes. A round is going to give you a different look rather than like a filbert is going to give you a thicker line there or marking. And she just goes over all of those and how you get them. So I love that she's included that, because sometimes you don't know how to use your brushes in a way that is going to give you that, that mark making that you need. So she goes through that a lot. And then she gets into the herbs. So these are flowering herbs, so they're still going to have the different colors and things like that. And then she just gives you a step-by-step process. She even tells you what to mix. So she says mix 2 parts of ultramarine blue and 1 part of quinacridone rose, and then allow this to get creamy to make that deep purple. So she does a great job of detail and explaining, you know, that step-by-step process. And that way you can really learn. And she just goes through each of the flowers that way. Cornflower, St. John's wort, you know, how to mix those two after you get comfortable painting them alone. Then you can start to mix the different kinds of flowers. So pretty. So yeah, so she goes through all of those. Here's the dandelion. So fun. And then the next section is the wildflowers, where she breaks those down as well with color palettes and the step-by-step of how to get through each of them. So I love how she tells you exactly what colors to use. And then just that step-by-step process. So it's been a fun book to work through, and I'm excited to do more and to learn more and to be able to put them in my sketchbooks and really learn, and then, you know, create these bigger pieces eventually, which would be really nice to do as well. So back here in the back, she gives a composition, kind of an overview of a composition of how you're going to group the flowers together. So like how you're going to group them together in a bouquet of flowers and things like that. So she just talks about filler flowers and how do you choose what to start with and all of that kind of thing. And really good detail about accents and putting in the leaves and things like that. So good detail when it comes to creating those bouquets, especially if that's something that you want to do and you're kind of intimidated, like how do I get started? She does a great job of really telling you how to do that, and not just telling you how, but kind of giving you the step-by-steps of how you can build up those bouquets. And then she has one that you can work on. So it's not just like telling you, but it's also showing you, which is really important with these books, because that is the best way that you're going to learn. And so instead of maybe going to a workshop, you can work through the books. So I hope that that was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed going through this Wildflower Watercolor book with me. I think that she's done a fantastic job of just putting those step-by-step instructions together for anyone who wants to learn that way, which really is the best way to learn, because you're taking it in small pieces and you're learning along the way, and then you can work on some bigger projects as you begin to hone in on that skill and really get better and better at it. So thank you so much for joining me today with this book review. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, bye!